Hi, I'm Jeanne Allen, founder of the Center for Education Reform, and I'm pleased to welcome you to our latest innovation in schooling, EdReform University, the nation's first and only effort to inform, educate, and activate students who don't know much about history, at least not the history of the EdReform movement. Those who don't know history are destined to repeat it, it was once said. Never has such a statement struck a more important warning bell for educators, reformers, funders, and policymakers. Unprecedented potential at national, state, and local levels require reformers and particularly reform-minded educators to have a thorough command of what has transpired in the education arena before they can make a productive dent in enacting significant changes. Whatever the year or the month or the audience, the need for a real history lesson has been made clear time and time again in our work. Everyone comes to the table with a different lens and a different set of information. It might be complementary, and it might be thorough, but it is lacking in a full context that will enable great work to be done swiftly and with precision. A teacher's time is limited to the focus she must put on her craft. Similarly, a legislator's time is limited once they go into session, and the power of the paid lobbyists compromises the work done outside the establishment. The impetus behind creating an annual and potentially several times a year institute began almost 2 years ago when CER directors retreated to discuss how best to serve its primary constituencies going well into the future. We realized that the single largest impediment to real, lasting, structural educational improvement, even beyond the opponents of common sense standards, quality options for kids, and accountability, was the lack of common knowledge of the people, the ideas, their progress they've made, and the players that we have in this movement, and more. The progress of this movement, born just over 20 years ago, its new ideas, its challenges, was path-breaking, but we all arrive at a different point in time with different context. We recognized from the years of counsel and support to educators, parents, policymakers, founders of schools that the single biggest question we'd received over time and time again was akin to a history lesson. More importantly, we found ourselves being invited to provide such lessons to new charter schools, their educators, and even the parents coming there. We found ourselves filling in huge gaps of knowledge across the movement. We realized as well that to arm the next generation of reformers as we age, we had to do more than wait for people to come to our offices, join our staffs, or run for political office. We realized we had to create a program that could even the knowledge gap, that could create the cultural literacy that E.D. Hurst once passionately advocated, said we needed across all knowledge bases. Our own cultural literacy is lacking, that of the innovators, that of the history, and that of where we've been and who was there from the start. Thus, the idea of building an EdReform U was born. It starts with a massive and unprecedented library of the history of the movement, and will soon begin to provide online as well as occasional in-person coursework, and eventually will deliver fully accredited coursework through partnership colleges and universities. But that's getting a little ahead of myself. Let me turn to my colleague, Cara Kerwin, to give you more details on what you can find today in EdReform U. Thank you.